Welcome to Spiritual Clearings, where we clear and transmute the energies of the collective across time, space, and dimensions. Using the Akashic Records, we access imprints from the past, present, future, past lives, and parallel realities to bring truth, clarity, and soul-level healing into the now. Let's align with the highest frequency available today, shall we? Hi, everybody. Welcome. Happy Aloha Friday. I'm really excited to be here and I'm attempting to get all of this organized since I'm here on all these wonderful platforms. So give me a moment as I'm attempting to figure my technical stuff out. So please come on in, say hello, let me know who's here. And we'll get started here in just a few moments. So bear with me. Thank you. Okay, I think I'm all set and ready to go. Okay, cool. So today is a nice spiritual clearing because we've got the full moon in Libra coming up on Sunday, Mondays in some certain areas. And an eclipse. And we are entering the eclipse season, which means we are undergoing some transformative change in our lives that we may not always want to go through, right? And as the eclipse season starts, sometimes it hits really hard where it's like, oh, like shock to the heart. And then we go in it like really becoming aware of the pain or the belief or the suffering we're carrying so that we can, throughout the process of the eclipse, begin to process it and get into this place where we're allowing ourselves to redefine it and come out the other end with what we prefer. So, if you are ready for this eclipse season, type me in the comments below. Let me know. I am going to also mute my phone so I can watch comments here and go from there. So Libra energy, balancing out the scales, and Libra often has to deal with relationships. A lot of times the relationships give us a sense of meaning and purpose in our lives. And when relationships are around us faltering, then we begin to second guess ourselves because they provide reflections for who we are. And if there's certain relationships that are an upheaval or not making any sense, then this is what we want to pay attention to, right? Which then gives us an opportunity to step into another's shoes, understand where they're coming from, and also to take a look at ourselves. So I'm really excited to go deep into this wonderful world of relationships because to me, they're so important. Like I've cultivated an amazing group of people in my life that I love and trust and rely on, and as well as they rely on me. And when things can be out of alignment, it's like helping me see myself. And so I'm hoping today's spiritual clearing will support you in that too, and becoming aware so that then through this eclipse season, you can begin to see what is being called to shift and change and move out of. Because also, this eclipse season is about endings, giving us an opportunity to shed light on the things so that we can begin to transform them and move on into what we prefer. So I'm going to first calibrate us because I didn't get a chance to do that. So as I'm doing this, and if you're here with me, again, please say hi in the comments. I see Raji. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. A lot of you are probably on spring break, which is so much fun. We are definitely populated here in Hawaii right now with all the spring breakers having lots of fun, and it just brings such an element of joy to the island. So if you are enjoying yourself, have so much fun. Hi, Raji. So good to see you. So I'm going to go ahead and connect and you can take this time to close your eyes and just breathe and be present. Just notice if there's any slight energy shifts in your body as I begin to prep us. What's really cool is that as I prep, your high self team is working with you in clearing any energies out that will support you throughout this next week. Again, what Spiritual Clearing Fridays are all about is getting ourselves prepped and ready for what's to come in this next week. And it's a way to look at what is the signs, the symbols that are asking to be seen so that we're in a place where we're in alignment with our true selves along with the cosmos at large. So let's go ahead and prep to work. Am I working with my high self committee, our spirit and I operating in conjunction and harmony with each other? Are we ready to work? Okay. How long to prep me to work? How long to prep my high self to work? How long to prep the group to work? How long to prep the group's high self to work? Please prep us to work on all levels, layers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hmm. Having cleared all the 13 bodies of negative programming, how we educate the highest new level, who am I working with? High self, mine, the groups, or both? Both. Are we working cooperation harmony? What's the lowest level of any member of my high self committee? How about the groups? High self new paradigm. How many extra souls do I have? Lost souls, connections, all zero. How many extra souls does the group have? Ooh, we got to clear one. Do we need to do research on this? Go ahead and clear. Please clear on all levels, layers. Ooh. A lot of times extra souls come in through birth and there's a bit of um, hurt or harm energy that comes through that basically has been on a past life and they come in wanting to reiterate that same energy and we're like, nope, not today. Um, so we are clearing them. Hi, Natasha. Hello, Regan. Hi, Courtney. Thank you so much for being here today. So appreciate it. So we're clearing the lost extra soul. Cleared, accurate, complete. How many extra souls? Lost souls, connections. What percent ego am I operating from? What percent ego are they operating from? All less than 2%. Are we ready to work? Will I get correct answers, accurate answers? All right, so today's session again is all about relationships. Like we are encountering some amazing ones and ones that are challenging us that then, cause us to renegotiate our whole lives. And as we're doing that, we're seeing what we do want in our lives, right? And because sometimes the things that we have chosen and what we believed in was coming from values and belief systems that really didn't resonate with us, but we took it on as role models because this is the way to be. This is how everyone's operated, and yet it's not necessarily who we are. So now, years later, we're now facing them full on and going, well, is this a relationship that I desire? Is this a relationship that I want? Does this relationship still serve me? Because as you go through this eclipse season, it will bring up all of that information because it's all on the surface. And as you know, eclipses are literally these magnificent portals of energy that give us an awareness of what is occurring. So I'm really excited and kind of frightened at the same time because there's a lot that can come up during these times. But no, you have support. Your high self is there with you, and all of this truly is happening for you, not to you. Okay. For you, not to you. And that's the most powerful thing to remember as you're going through this. Like it's happening for you, not to you. All right, Brent, what's up, buddy? Thank you so much for being here. And I'm really excited again, relationships. Relationships are my jam. Like I said, I've cultivated a lot of amazing relationships, had to let go of several that no longer serve me, but through those relationships also gave me an understanding of myself, right? Of what I had believed to be true. And in that, you begin to see like what you're operating from. So that's what we're going to do a clearing on today. And we'll go deep into it. All right. So is there anything we need to clear around our inner circle friendship relationships right now? Okay. What is it? So we're going to the higher spiritual charts. And what we're looking at is odds and ends. How many of you have been at odds and ends with your relationships where it feels like, okay, we are literally at opposite ends, and the things that we're going through in those relationships feel like it's creating an ending, right? And in that ending, we're seeing and being reborn to new beginnings because we don't want to be at odds anymore. We're wanting to find that compromise, the understanding, the idea of like harmony rather than being at odds, which causes the battling, the fights, the arguments. We want to get into a place where we're like not at odds and ends anymore. We want to be in alignment and in support and in harmony, right? So think about those relationships in your life that have odds and ends. Again, these relationships are happening for you, not to you. And oftentimes it will show you what you have been at odds with yourself. And again, the place to look is the values that you have placed in your life. Like what are you following? And if you're at odds and ends with them, then you might have been believing and behaving in such a way that was actually at odds with your own true character, your true self. And so if you could begin to look at that and realize like what you're battling, maybe it really is yourself, right? Maybe it is something that you knew all along and you've been at odds with it. And so the reflections are coming up in your relationships, which is showing you like, there is a different way that you wish to live. There is a different um, idea that you want, and you haven't been brave enough, courageous enough, or even in your own right mind to actually choose those things, right? Because ultimately, a lot of our relationships we choose from the relationships that have made our lives in the past, and not a lot of those have been the greatest ones. Believe me, like I've had a lot of relationships where I endured it. There's a lot of relationships that I uh, like latched on and appeased and was in servitude towards because I didn't have the self-confidence in myself. There's a lot of relationships that I was controlling because I was afraid and scared and sad. And so there are people in my life that I even came to bully sometimes, right? Hi, Barbara. Thanks so much for joining me. And we each have been these different people in our lives with certain people because it brings it out in us, right? Some people anger us. Some people, we can really rely on and trust. Some people really bring out the truth in us. Some people, bring out the frustration and the annoyance in us. And just to look at those and kind of discern for yourself, like what have those relationships been teaching you and what values have you been following and what have you thought you had to do in order to mm, appease them or keep them in your life um, or even obligated or responsible for, right? Really powerful to take a look. And this eclipse season is giving us that opportunity to look, especially as we start off with this beautiful Libra full moon, I think Sunday, Monday-ish. Okay, so is there anything else we need to look at odds and ends? No. So let's go ahead and clear that so we have a better understanding and really can see it. So we're not blinded anymore, right? Because oftentimes when we just are in the fight or in the odds and ends of things, we begin to like operate from that. Whereas when we're in that, we can't see. So we want to rise above it and begin to like really be curious about what's going on. So clear and release. So I'm curious if you are brave and available, type in the comments below if there is an energy you're seeing that you are at odds and ends with, that you're wishing to transform. And that way we can all, probably be resonant with it. It's probably something you're thinking about, what you're going through, because oftentimes where we're all together, we have the same energies. For me, you know, a big thing I've been working on is energy of resentment. And it's interesting because resentment has shown up in different relationships in my life. And it definitely stems from childhood. And what I realize is when I carry this resentment, it actually doesn't allow me to feel sad because the resentment is my protector around being vulnerable. And when I began to take a look at it and express about it to a trusted friend, I began to get really emotional and started bawling my eyes out because I realized through that energy of resentment, I just was carrying so much sadness because I felt disappointed. I felt sad that things weren't the way I would want them to be, and they turned out a different other way. So each time it hardened my heart, and I would grow angry and resentful. And I just don't want to carry that with me anymore. And that's something I've been at odds and ends with, and it shows up in the relationships, which then is actually reflecting back to me that I'm needing to take a look at my sadness. And so if there's something like that for you, please do comment it below and we can begin to work on that. Okay. So, is there anything else to clear for our relationships today? Chart 20, another higher spiritual chart. And this is all about refining our consciousness. So this one's pointing to programs that are not on charts that are on all levels. So this is where the things that are not really known to us at this time that are affecting us on all these levels is just needing to be cleared. So we can probably begin to be so conscious and aware of them that then they're no longer hidden to us, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and clear this so that we can make them known and begin to work on it for ourselves. This not only benefits you, it benefits all the people around you. And as we make this information known, which is affecting all levels of our lives, we can begin to make choices that are towards what we prefer. DJ, what's up? I'm so happy you're here. Thank you so much for joining me. All right, clearing on all levels and layers. Oh my God, this is spinning so much that I feel like I'm gonna let it go. Ah, okay, keep going. So something that's coming up for this is it's like I thought I worked on that in my relationship. And it's like you have pieces that you work on. And again, there's so many levels of it. Once you unlock a piece and you discover it, it's like the next one shows and reveals itself. And it might be a slight tweak from what it was before. What I mean about that, so for me, working on the resentment piece, like that was like a huge, large, and in charge part of what I was experiencing. And now as I get to the sadness piece, that's a whole nother layer, right? And so now as I go into these relationships that are bringing up the sadness, I'm now working on that piece so that then I can purify myself in a way that the joy starts to come through. Because without that sadness, I wouldn't really get to experience the joy of the relationships and be in complete gratitude for what I do have. And I am so grateful for my relationships. And a lot of you I'm in relationship with, and I love you so much. Okay. Cleared, accurate, complete. And also another layer of the resentment that I'm working on too is having things to be a particular way. It's like being so humble and feeling the grace that what I get to experience in these relationships are exactly what I need for the evolution of my soul, which means more love, more light, more joy, more bliss, more pleasure, more amazing moments, more fun times, more partying. And I so prefer that. So as you begin to like look at the layers, it's like, however old you are, I mean, imagine like all the things that have built up in your life regarding some of these relationships. And then we hold on to the grudges and we can't let go and we don't forgive. And then we carry that into the next relationships with either friends or lovers or whoever. And then it builds and builds and builds. And then it carries on to the next one. And so we want to begin to, look at those levels piece by piece in a way that then unlock the key to having more of the relationships we do prefer. All right. Let's see. Cleared, accurate, complete. Excellent. Let's see what else is here. Is there anything else we need to clear around relationships? Okay, is there something in particular that we do need to look at in relationships? Okay, what is that? Again, another higher spiritual chart. Let's look at that. Yeah. Awareness that love is the only energy. So, what I love about this is I taught in New Paradigm Healing. Oftentimes, when we're going through the process of spiritual growth, there's things look a certain way that help us evolve. And what I mean by that is if you begin to be a newbie and you've let go, if you're a newbie at this work and you have let your boundaries be stepped on by everyone, it's like to really create those boundaries and protect yourself, right? So that you have space to be. Whereas another person who's kind of done this work, it's actually to um, not have such rigid boundaries because now you have a sense of self and you're now more free to express to people what you prefer and what your boundaries are and what supports you, and then invite the other to share the same. And then the next level of that is sometimes we get into these relationships that really trigger us, and then you might think from the very beginning, I gotta let this person go. I gotta, get rid of them, so to speak, right? But ultimately, they're not to be gotten rid of. They're literally showing you, something about your life, what you're going through that is literally in your face. Like you can't ignore it anymore. And it's like that, those traits, that character is revealing to you something that you believe to be true, right? And then there's the relationships that really are up in your face, triggering everything. And then you realize, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I needed to learn. And then you don't even have to let them go. They like fall away naturally, right? Because then the frequency no longer is matching and you learned your lesson, and then boom, it's like they're no longer in your life. You're like, poof, where'd they go? And you didn't have to do anything, right? And that's what I realized in my own relationships. Like in the beginning, when I let other people walk all over me all the time, I had to go like really assert myself, and it was so uncomfortable. I had to create boundaries and literally let people go in my life because I just kept having them, bombard me all the time. And then eventually I got into the space where I was like, okay, well, maybe I don't need to let them go. Maybe I need to communicate and express my feelings to them so that they understand, and that we can be on the same page with one another. And then after that, I was like, oh my God, how is this person me? How have I been behaving in these ways? Maybe in my past or somewhere in my current relationships that I haven't necessarily allowed myself to see. Because if that person's freaking annoying, like there's something in me that I'm annoyed with. And then from there, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm like taking on the information. Like this person is such a gift for me right now, even though they're triggering all the bullshit in my life. Like they are revealing to me what I don't love inside of myself. Boom. And then all of a sudden, when you've learned that lesson, goners, how amazing is that? Any of you experience that energy in your life? Because that when you really get that, like there's not really like a protocol. It's just how the flow happens. Like you begin to realize these things because you're ready for it. And when you're ready for it, it will never, and it no longer belongs, it literally will disappear. It's amazing. So, um, is that correct? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and clear this because really all that's coming through, all these people in your life is really to evolve your soul, and they are here as love for you. And love is literally only energy we have. We just have this idea, a narrative based on what we have experienced in life that is carrying through these relationships, especially. And yet, each of these people are a reflection of ourselves. And it's like all we need is love for ourselves. And in that, we begin to get like see the differences in other people and then appreciate them, not needing to take them on, but realize it's all love. So super, super excited. All right, cleared, accurate, complete. Is there another topic that we need to clear regarding our relationships? Okay, what do we need to see? So this one is chart 12. Loss of seeing God. What I like about this is we forget that each of the people in our lives are literally a spark of God. You know, some have forgotten and fallen deep under unconsciousness and into the narrative of the world or whatever they're believing in, and then we like pinpoint on them this identity, like this is a bad person, that's a wrong person, that person is this or that, and we forget to see beyond that. Like that might be the blueprint cover, that is the mask that they're wearing, but ultimately behind that is God itself, you know? And because we're all these amazing creators, we are all sons and daughters of God. And in that, we're also God. And so when we look at that personality trait or their character flaws or whatever they're doing as bad, wrong, or, you know, um, unacceptable, we miss the whole point of that person is God too. So I think it's really important that we begin to see through that, you know, and begin to see the infinite being that they really are, because they are, and they're creating from their own circumstances, um, and that's who they are, and that's the lessons that they're going through. And we don't need to judge them, compare ourselves to them, or even be in a place where um, we're angry at them, because ultimately they only know what they're doing based on their own narrative and what they're experiencing. And so when you can begin to step inside of their shoes and, you know, take a moment to appreciate like the preciousness of life and how we've all come down here, you know, into these systems, having to learn about what this world is like, and then we adopt these ideas, which we think is going to take us to this promised land of success and love and you know, whatever else that you dare to dream of. And yet ultimately it's the destination of like really being in alignment with ourselves and loving other people and supporting other people, being in a place where we're helping remind each other of the God that is within, right? And in that, then we all break free from the blueprints and we begin to live our life from our true selves, which then creates this whole nother paradigm of a world that is what we prefer. And so when we begin to see each other as these creative, amazing beings doing their part in their world, and whatever their challenges are, whatever they're going through is their soul's journey, and we just pray and bless them so that then they awaken to themselves and remember who they really are. Okay, so let's go ahead and clear the loss of seeing God in each other, because that's ultimately who we all are, right? Is just a part of the one note sung, a part of the infinite being that is really here, you know, coming down onto this earth to having our own experiences. And each one of us is a beautiful snowflake that is having these unique experiences. And so there is nothing to judge, there is nothing to fear. We're just learning about ourselves and how to interact with one another. That is all love. So clearing, clearing, clearing. I don't know about you, but I feel my heart opening. So I want you to take a moment, and as we're clearing this, close your eyes. Because again, if we're not seeing God in everybody and we don't realize that love is everything, awareness that love is through all of our relationships, then we've closed down our hearts, and now we're protecting ourselves, and now we're separating ourselves, and now we're judging ourselves, and now we're judging others, now we're comparing ourselves to others. Now we're beginning to create the conflicts and the wars, right, between all of us and between our own selves. So really coming into this place within your heart and allowing that heart to open from the front and the back, that no matter the challenges, the struggles that you're seeing right now, that love is the only answer. And that as we open our hearts and receive, then we can actually take in the information and also be more love to others and especially to ourselves. What does it feel like to have your heart open? It feels like less contracted. It feels like you can breathe. It feels free. So all of those things allow that energy to flow through you. Cleared, accurate, complete. Hello, babe. Hi, Isaac. Hi, Ira. Thank you so much for being here today. All right. Is there another topic we need to clear around relationships? Anything else that's left to be seen around this Libra full moon and the start of the eclipse season? So we need to look at another higher spiritual chart. And I was hoping this was coming in, which is being open to receive the greater good. And I think this is so powerful and important right now because as we've focused on problems, as we focused on blame, as we focused on what another person is doing, and the thing is that there's a lot of good coming in, not only from our relationships, but from our relationships to money, to the things that we do prefer, that we're all working towards, right? And if you can open up to receive what's coming through, we are literally being guided every step of the way through our relationships, through our interactions with music or material goods. It's like I think Isaac said it best a couple days ago is that he doesn't even need a guru, mentor, teacher right now because everything is a teacher. And if we can look at our relationships to everything, everything is revealing to you in this moment, in this time, your answers. It's just when we get blinded, like the shutdown mode comes in, it's like, and then you're now operating in fear or anger or resentment or whatever that is. And so all you see is that. However, if you kind of open back up, open up your heart and let yourself receive, it's like the answers are all here. And what's cool about that is, like with quantum physics, like everything is existing simultaneously. We are just slowing things down so we can have the experience and understand what's going on. However, we can tap into any mood, any experience in any given moment. If you just, close your eyes and you think back to a fond memory and you put yourself there, it's like all of a sudden you are right there, right? In that moment, and you can access that feeling and in that feeling, carry it with you into everyday life experiences. All of a sudden, it changes everything, right? So ultimately, we do have a choice in what we experience. And if we allow ourselves to open up to the greater good that's coming before us, then it is literally guiding us to what is possible. Because everything in this moment is possible. It's just a matter of allowing yourself to receive it and see it. So I'm going to go ahead and clear the block to being open to receive the greater good because it is coming in. And with this beautiful full moon, the full moon is shining bright for you to really see in the dark what's available for you. And then through the portal of the eclipse season, it's like this is the stuff that is here that's hindering you from allowing yourself to receive that greater good. So giving yourselves an open mind, curiosity, and allowing that greater good to bless you. I'm so excited for you. Okay, cleared, accurate, complete. Excellent. Is there anything else today? No. So that was a lot today. I mean, it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks because the eclipse season does last for quite some time. I think it's like 6 to 8 weeks, but don't quote me. So we're going to see the three eclipses come through. The first one starts this full moon in Libra, and then there will be a solar eclipse, and then I believe a lunar eclipse again. So be on the lookout. Like if you're in a place that goes down into shame spirals or shut down, that means that you're avoiding looking at what is there to be seen, right? And that's not a place where growth occurs. That's where we hide, and that's where we essentially perpetuate the issues and the energies with us. Like literally be brave and face it head on, because once you do, you're in a place of integration, of transformation, of change, because you're no longer operating in the dark. You are willing to look at it, see yourself, see others in a different light, and you'll begin to see that you were never that and they were never that ever. It was just our perceptions, our ideas, the systems at large, and you begin to see again their true essence, which has always, always been light and these infinite, gorgeous beings that are masterful and creative. So super excited for you. I'm going to go ahead and close up. If there's any comments or questions, feel free to do so in the comments below. You guys are amazing. I so appreciate you. And I'm really excited that we're going into relationships because that's my jam. I love relationships. And as we do, be gentle on yourselves and each other. And I'm just going to ask that all our healing teams be in a place of showing us compassion, grace, humility, and forgiveness for all these relationships that have taught us some amazing things in our life. Some we preferred and some we didn't prefer. Give us the grace and the compassion to see things as they are and be in acceptance and in love with all that we encounter as we continue to build relationships, as we continue to find new relationships, and as we continue to let go and grieve over the ones that we have lost. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Place the hedge of protection around each and every person and take care of them through this eclipse season. May it be a guiding light for their beautiful transformation and change. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yay! I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for being here. And know that Isaac will be on live for Workshop Wednesdays. I'm here for Spiritual Clearing Friday. And then Tiffany and I are doing another talk. We don't know yet, but it'll be on April 6th, a Saturday. So there will be announcements for that to let you know the time and what our topic is. I hope you'll join us. Thank you so much for being here. Please refer your friends who you feel like would benefit from this kind of information, and we'll see you on the flip side.
If you felt a shift today, this is just the beginning. Join us inside New Paradigm Healing Academy to go deeper into clearing, energy work, and soul remembrance. Subscribe, like, and share this with someone ready to release the old and embody the new. Together, we rise in frequency across all timelines.